WANE 15's Rachel Russell talked to the two friends. What created this unlikely bond?
Yeah, well, this past December, Kathy celebrated 20 years of being sober. Now she credits it all to that day that she said that Sergeant Rod Bratmuller saved her life.
God sent his help. He sent me 2 angels in blue, and they drove this white chariot with iridescent stripes down the side and these beautiful swirling red lights on the top. And they gave me matching bracelets. It was an ugly pair of bracelets, but by far the most valuable piece of anything I had ever owned.
Kathy Campbell broke her ankle and leg during her childhood. After some complications into her adult life, she was experiencing chronic pain. While her work as an operating room nurse became too strenuous, painkillers became the answer.
I couldn't figure out how to get out of it other than to die.
She wrote a bad prescription for the second time and went to pick it up. Instead, Officer Rod Bratmuller showed up, and Kathy went to jail for the weekend. When she got out, she had the option to go to drug court or go to prison for 3 years. She chose drug court, and a year and a half later, when the time came, there was one person she wanted at her graduation.
If it was important enough for her, then that was the least I could do. So I took a few minutes out of my time and went there.
My cop Rod, as Kathy calls him, the first reuniting was an emotional one.
I said, "Thank you for saving my life." And he took several seconds and he said, "I am so glad you stopped."
Fast forward to today.
I've been clean and sober 20 years.
Kathy calls Rod every December on her anniversary to tell him she is still sober. But it's become much more than that.
At the beginning, I would have never thought that somebody that I arrested that I would ever connect with, and we have. She had a daughter that was 7 at the time. My daughter was 5. And we've been through everything as far as dating boys and marriages.
The bond they share is a special one that has impacted how Rod views his career as an officer.
No matter how mundane or ordinary a call is, the things I do or don't do on that call is going to impact somebody's life.
And one that has changed Kathy's life forever.
Kathy told me that every time she sees an officer, she asks them if they know her cop, Rod. And really, their story is just a great reminder that one simple act can really impact someone's life.
Rachel Russell got to talk to somebody who might need some encouragement.
That's right, Dirk and Tara. And sometimes going through a similar situation at the same time as someone can create a pretty strong bond. In this case, it began with a baby calf abandoned by its mother.
2 weeks ago, Jim noticed the cows in an unusual spot. He went out to check if there were any new babies, and what he found was a first.
To our knowledge, that's the first set of twins we've had in 18 years, you know.
It's rare for this breed to have twins, but when that happens, it's not uncommon for the mother to reject one of the calves, in this case, the smaller, weaker one.
The first day, she couldn't hardly do anything. She couldn't hardly move her head or legs or anything.
But that wasn't okay with the shears. They brought the calf in and bottle fed her daily, even created this bouncy seat to teach her how to walk.
It was really a coincidence that I even seen them, you know, and if I wouldn't have seen her within an hour, probably she probably wouldn't have made it.
While this was happening, there was someone else in their life that was healing.
She's a real good little girl, and you know, her and I get along well.
Hannah Wells has been coming to the farm since she was 10. Jim and Hannah have a lot in common.
You've known me for a long time, buddy.
Starting with their passion for barrel racing.
Been barrel racing since I was 10. Everything was kind of good, and then about age 14, I started feeling my heart kind of beating really fast and really hard.
She had a bicuspid valve. In treating that, doctors noticed there was a blood flow leak.
And then this past year, he said, yeah, it's actually gotten to the severe leakage center, and he said, it's about 70% leakage.
After her surgery 3 weeks ago, she says her treat is getting to come be with the new little calf.
Down a moo. Animals have been a part of my life since I was born, and this has been kind of like a safe haven for me.
Over the time of her recovery, Patty Ann will share the calf's updates with Hannah.
Whether it's her lifting her head up and me putting my hair up in a ponytail for the first time.
Side by side,
Sweet girl.
Getting better each day, this little calf has made an impact on many people's lives already, especially Hannah's.
I feel this calmness when I'm around them, and it's been really helpful, especially through all the traumatic recovery stuff. It makes my heart happy. It makes kind of like your soul happy.
Hannah just celebrated her 24th birthday yesterday. We wish her a speedy recovery, and they haven't quite named the calf yet. They said it just has to be that perfect name. They haven't came up with it yet.
All right, well, I have no ideas. I can't help there.
Right.
But it's a great story. Thanks so much, Rachel.
Dirk and Tara, officers are known to be there in times of trouble, but they are not trained for every situation. What this officer did was a first for everyone involved.
Early Saturday morning, Andrew Peters was working his normal overnight shift.
And I see a man waving his arm, so I roll my window down and ask him if he needs something.
He's been with the Allen County Sheriff's Department for 4 years now, but nothing he's seen can compare to that early morning.
He says, my wife's having a baby. I said, like right now? He's like, yeah, like right now.
A father of 3 himself, Andrew went into hero mode.
I ask Dad if he sees anything. He's like, I don't know, maybe. And then he's like, there's the head, and he just backs up. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess I just got tapped in.
Chloe Joelle Karhoff came into the world around 1:30 that morning in a special way. 7 pounds and 3 ounces, Mom Kristen, 38 weeks pregnant to the day.
We made it about 10-15 minutes from here, and I knew we weren't going to make it all the way.
But it's a delivery they'll never forget.
I think if Officer Peters wasn't there, I don't know what would have happened. The kind of moment that everything happened so quickly that the instincts just kicked in, and it was, okay, well, I need to push now, and she came very quick. It was like 2 or 3 pushes.
I guess I just based it off what I saw on television, really. It's not like we deliver babies all the time, so we don't have any specialized baby delivery training or anything like that.
And a relief for everyone the moment they heard that little girl's voice.
People come to us in their bad times or times where they need help, and they look for us to have all the answers, be that calming presence. So even if we're a little freaked out on the inside, we need to be that calm and collective voice that helps them through.
As for Mom and Dad, they learned a lesson that early morning.
We did joke that if we ever got another pregnancy test, that we're buying a kit, that there will be blankets and tarps and whatever you need, things to cut an umbilical cord. We're just going to throw it in the trunk and just keep it there.
Chloe is Kristen's 5th child, and they had to continue a tradition with each baby's birth.
They said they get a picture with their babies and their doctors, and this is going to be the first one that has a police officer holding the baby instead.
From the couple's home in Payne, Ohio, they had about a 30-minute drive all the way to Parkview Hospital. They were only about 10 minutes into that drive when they stopped for the delivery, still 20 minutes away from the hospital. Tonight, we're glad Mom and baby are both healthy. In studio, Rachel Russell, WANE 15 News.
They're calling him a hero.
I kept looking at her, and she was looking at me. And right when I stepped up to start walking up the bridge, she jumped right off.
But Noah says he did what anyone would do in this situation.
Jumped in the water from the shore, swam out, and grabbed her hand and was reassuring her and pulling her through the water, and then I got her up onto the shore and she started crying, and I was just holding her and waiting for the police to get there.
A selfless act, all for a total stranger.
I was planning on getting her out no matter what.
Noah is a freshman and commutes to school. Today, he decided to park in a different spot that he's never parked in before. One that meant he'd have to cross the bridge to get to his car after class.
I think that God placed Noah there. I think he led him there today, and he knew this was taking place, and that's why he was there.
Tonight, he's reflecting on what the outcome could have been.
If I hadn't parked there, I wouldn't have walked past and I wouldn't have seen it, and I wouldn't have been there, and who knows what could have happened if I wasn't there.
He says he's never seen her before, but if he saw her again, he says this time he'd have something to share with her.
Because I know how hard and difficult it can be. I would tell her that even though she doesn't know me, I don't know her, that if there was anything she ever needed to talk about, or anyone for that matter, I would be more than happy to help.
And his mom is very proud of her son Noah's actions today.
And you hope that they learned and And I see it all the time with my kids. They do, but you still, it's nice to see when they act on what they were, how they were raised.
At one point, it seemed like the office staff, management, whoever, they cared actually about their tenants. However, the past 2 years, I've seen things just spiral.
This is what prompted Brown to document one family's living conditions using Facebook. This is the apartment building next door to the one his mother Evelyn lives in. Multiple apartments are already condemned, but one family is still living in the sewage and mess.
We walked up through there, you could smell it, and it's irritating towards me. Just imagine living in there.
Evelyn has lived at Astoria Apartments for 24 years now. She used to be proud to call it her home. Now she is embarrassed.
It's bad that I got to live in mine, but to live the way them people living over there in that building, and then I'm sitting out here smelling that. They're human beings, they're people, and they do not need to be in that building.
They blame the owner for not taking action.
I come to the fact that they just don't care. Because when you have your tenants pleading with you, and then you have no action, that's just telling me you don't care.
Brown believes a lot of the tenants feel if they speak up, they'll get harassed or evicted.
They've evicted several people for complaining about the conditions of their apartments.
Now Neighborhood Code has stepped in and issued 3 10-day health and safety notices to the owner. 2 were for the public hallways and 1 for the apartment. They said the apartment had various issues, including pests and unclean carpeting, on top of the sewage overflow in the hallway.
When I saw that it coincided with her anniversary of when her stroke and her heart transplant were, I knew I had to do it.
Kristen's mother had cancer in 1996, leading to congestive heart failure, which progressed to a heart pump, and then she became eligible for a heart transplant. After a long year of struggles and recovery, the decision for Kristen to begin training was easy, especially because Fort for Fitness falls on the same day that Kristen's mom had a heart transplant and then stroke last year.
One thing that she hasn't done is she's never given up, and so it's been amazing just watching her journey this past year and how she is persevering.
Kristen is a mother of 2 herself, and her daughters have been a motivation to both her and her mother to push themselves.
They have been such a motivation for my mom because she plays such an important role in their lives. And so my mom's motivation is, I'm going to be chasing you soon. And so she's really excited, and that keeps pushing her.
And they're learning a lesson themselves.
The story of perseverance is one that I hope that my daughters will always have, and they see that in their gram.
Kristen's mom has had to relearn how to sit up, how to walk, but she has never lost her love for life.
In their hometown, she's known as the Cookie Lady. She makes some of the most amazing cookies.
Now, after a year of struggles, Kristen's motivation to cross that finish line is what's waiting at the end.
She's going to be waiting for me at the finish line, and I'm so excited and honored to have her cross the finish line with me. So she's going to meet me in her wheelchair, and then with using her cane, she's going to cross the line with me.
Kristen has never run a race before. The 10K on Saturday will be her first, but she has her mother's support and strength from within.
One thing that gets me through my training runs is I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
This Saturday will be much different from the September 29th of last year for the Cohey family, and it shows that a daughter's love and admiration for her mother can't be shaken.
She's just one of the strongest women that I'm honored to call my mom.